Hey everybody, it's science fiction and fantasy author Michael Lauk here again to talk about Star Trek in a minute. I'm moving offices, so instead of the normal messy office, which is even worse at the moment, I'm just sitting downstairs getting ready actually to catch up on Dragon Ball Super and sign up for CBS All Access because I am so excited about Star Trek Discovery and so terrified all at the same time. Before I go on, let me just say, my heart goes out for everybody who's been affected by hurricanes. If there's anything you can do to help, there's plenty of good charities. I'm not going to recommend one because you should research your own for your area. Go that route. If there's anything else you can do, if you can just pray, just do that. And then also, as a lot of you may know, I'm from St. Louis originally. I actually, as I've mentioned in a newspaper article and such, I worked for the St. Louis Police as a civilian radio engineer for several years. Hate to see what's happening there, and I wish everybody on all sides would just calm down. There are ways to go about changing the world without damaging property and causing problems and throwing bricks at police and, things like that. Don't really want to get into politics too much because I don't think that's my place. It's not the kind of book that I do. And, I hope that people who don't agree with me and my politics read my books. And I hope, and I read books based on books, not on the politics. That's it's one of the dogs. Based on the book itself and reading stuff from different points of view that can only ultimately help us understand each other. So that's all I'm going to say about that. Instead, I'm going to talk about Star Trek Discovery. And like I said, I am really literally just about to sign up for CBS All Access. I am so excited about Star Trek Discovery. I've been waiting for this for so long, and yet I'm terrified at the same time. I'm a huge Star Trek fan. I rock the Enterprise logo on my car. I do. I'm an unabashed nerd when it comes to Star Trek. Prefer to Star Wars, all that good stuff. Mainly because I like the fact that Star Trek has a lot more time to tell its stories. Because it's a television show, not a movie. It has that advantage. But it also it has a real and positive view of the future. My main problem with the original Star Wars movies is they're like kung fu movies, and I love kung fu movies. Don't get me wrong, but they are stories of someone who was predestined for greatness. He was born, to be strong in the Force. Whereas Star Trek is the power of working together, and in fact, people who are very different working together and being stronger for working together. And I think that's, an uplifting message. I think it's a beautiful message, as dumb as that sounds. So, no, I'm not worried about Star Trek Discovery because it's being led by a woman. Sonequa Martin Green, I think I'm saying her name right. I really enjoyed her in The Walking Dead when I watched The Walking Dead. Before that, before I was one of those people who gave up on The Walking Dead. That's neither here nor there. And Star Trek's had, strong female characters before and female main character before with Captain Janeway. And I think Voyager is one of the best Star Wars, by the way, or Star Treks, by the way. I really like that Michelle Yeoh is in it. I'm a huge fan of hers, going back to, her Turn-In Police story and Wing Chun and all, she's a great actress. Really excited about that. What scares me is that, not even this could start slow or bad, because let's face it, Star Trek The Next Generation kind of sucked when it started, and they picked up What scares me is that they're going to screw up the Star Trek universe. And one of the things I love about Star Trek is this very rich, very detailed, very consistent universe, and history and mythology, for lack of a better term. There probably is a better term, I just can't think of it. And what I'm afraid is going to happen is what started to happen, frankly, in Enterprise. It happened in First Contact, where they have decided to ignore what has been established as Star Trek historical fact. I'm going to put that in air quotes because, I mean, it is a work of fiction. Everything, it's not like this is what really happened. We're not gonna have big fights over, who really started the original conflict between the Andorians and who cares? Like, I'm not talking about that, but what I am saying is that there is an established fact. There is established history, and there are established characters, and there are things that are mentioned that then Enterprise seemed to mess up, because I believe that it was not exactly in step with what was mentioned with the founding of the Federation in the Star Trek episode of Journey to Babel. And then on top of it, with First Contact, they changed the character of Cochrane, which is annoying. The guy was actually in the original series already. And I'm not talking about change the actor. That's understandable. They changed the story. They changed the origin. They changed, the invention of warp drive. And that's not cool. I mean, you're tearing apart the narrative at that point. So it's the problem that I have with Battlestar Galactica's reboot, that not only did they change the story, but they changed the core element of the story from, the Cylons being this group that came out of nowhere. The Cylons created the Cylons, and they were their first victims, to so that the humans were innocent victims, to, it's a demon of our own creation. That's annoying. Be a different show at that point. Be a different show. You could have easily been something different. You just wanted to nick the name recognition and some of the cool design elements of Battlestar Galactica. And so, if you're going to change things, go do something else. When it comes to Star Trek, if you're going to change things, set up a parallel universe. We've already done it. I mean, the movies, frankly, were brilliant for that. This new group of films, which I'm got mixed feelings on. They've all been enjoyable. They haven't all necessarily been good. I mean, the first one I really liked. I was surprised how much I liked it because they set up the parallel universe. Because they did until the end when they're like, "Oh, we just kicked you out of Starfleet Academy, but we're going to make you the captain of your own ship." And then it was just like, "What? You can't run." It's like you can't run Starfleet like that. None of that matters, though, to Star Trek Discovery. Star Trek Discovery has the opportunity to answer a lot of questions about the Star Trek universe, tell a great story, maybe even inspire a new generation, which I really honestly think that Star Trek has done. It is. I think you can walk around a lot of places with where technical advancements and scientific advancements are being made. Say, why are you here? And Star Trek's going to come up over and over and over. But if Star Trek Discovery changes things or ignores the previous established shows, it's only going to hurt Star Trek. It's only going to defeat itself. And it's going to disappoint a lot of people, myself included. It's already scary that there's yet another kind of Klingon. Hopefully, they're going to explain the Klingon transformation once and for all. And everybody will be happy, and that's that. I'm afraid they're just going to muddy the waters more. It's problematic that the main character seems somehow related to Spock, but was never, ever, ever mentioned in anything, official. And I'm going to go with Official being the television series. There's too many books and stuff to keep up with, and I love some of the Star Trek books. I'm a huge influence in my life, even more than the show originally, was reading the Star Trek books. I might have told that story before. I'm sure I've mentioned it in other media that when I was a kid, I was a very advanced reader, which was a problem because I was too advanced reading skill-wise for the things I was emotionally ready for. So, I was at a Hardy Boys age and maturity, but I could sit down and read a Hardy Boys book in an hour. And that was an issue for my parents and for my teachers, and it was a librarian who kind of put two and two together and went, "Hey, do you like Star Trek? Do you like Star Wars?" And, here's the novelization of Star Wars. Here are these books, the old James Blish books about Star Trek, which are written for adults, but they are based on PG movies and primetime television, so they're safe for a kid to read. It was a great thing for me to read. It got me into science fiction, got me into Star Trek more than I already was. So I'm a huge fan of the books. I read, when I don't feel well. That's kind of my dirty secret. When I don't feel well, I will curl up with a Star Trek book. I have big respect for the people authoring those books today. People like Dayton Ward jumps to mind. A little older, the Vonda McIntyre and other, just good, good storytelling with characters we can relate to. So I know there's books. I know there might be more explanations out there and everything. But, Spock has appeared in lots of movies, lots of television episodes, never mentioned... the guy died and came back. And died again. And we haven't ever, mentioned, oh yeah, hey, he's got this human half-sister, he's never been like, oh, that's my play sister, so that's kind of odd. And hopefully they'll handle all of this. By and large, Star Trek is very mindful of their fans. They realize, oh, these people learn how to speak Klingon. These people support us. These people, are spending money on us, even though it's years between shows, years between movies. And they treat the audience with a level of respect without, kind of by and large, without half-assing their product. So hopefully everything will be in there. But that's why I have misgivings. That's why I'm nervous. But I am so excited. And literally, I'm going to cut this short now. I don't want to hit 15 minutes. I want to, because I've got my laptop in my lap. It's going to look like crap. It's probably going to sound echoey and terrible. I've got a dog snoring here and another one licking herself in an obscene way over there. You don't want to be here. Plus, the oven went off, so it's time to go check out my pizza, which is probably burning. All that being said, super excited about Star Trek Discovery. Can't wait to see it. Hope you all are excited as well. And man, I hope it's the show that we as fans deserve. I mean, that's what you always hope for. And even if that means it starts slow, I'm cool with it starting slow if it means it's a better show. So that's all I have to say. Comment down there on this. What do you before you see it and after you see it, and are you expecting more out of Star Trek Discovery because you're going to have to pay for it? That I think is a super valid question. So comments on there. Be sure to visit me over on the website, swordsandrayguns.com. I'm working on some new stuff. I don't have any new books out or anything like that. Check me out on Amazon. If you've read my books, please review my books. But go over to Swords and Ray Guns and check out the free stuff. I have some nifty printable bookmarks for your books. And that's that. Star Trek Discovery. I'm going to hit 15 minutes, and I don't want to do that. So that's it. I'm shutting up now. Thanks for listening to me ramble on. Michael Locke, swordsandrayguns.com. And hey, everybody out there, just keep holding on. Let's move towards the better. Help your neighbor if you can. Help your neighbor in Mexico with the earthquake, in Florida and Texas and Puerto Rico, your neighbors who aren't your neighbors across the street, but your neighbors on this little planet. Help if you can, and let's just all be good to each other. That's what I have to say. Bye.